everyone. Thanks for coming. Happy Easter. So, how appropriate is it that we sing Rise Up on this day? Today we celebrate Christ rising up from the dead. And oftentimes when I'm singing it, at the part that goes, I will rise 1,000 times for you, I think of it like Christ is saying it to me. And yeah, that always gets me a little bit. But if you were paying really close attention, and if you know the song, you might have noticed that we actually changed one of the words in there. So the part where I sing, all I need is hope, and for that we have a Savior. The original says, all we need is hope, and for that we have each other. And as a group, we decided to change the word because we felt like Savior more precisely aligned with our vision. Because, yes, of course we need each other. We need each other for support, but only a Savior can give us that everlasting hope. No human can. Now, the theme of the concert is Look Up. And you'll notice that a lot of our songs have a lot of imagery centered around eyes and looking and just general vertical motion. So a lot of like flying and rising. So keep an eye out for that. And it's a great reminder, this theme, for me personally. Like I mentioned, I'm a senior, and my Duke experience has been full of ups and downs. I've learned a lot about myself, like my crippling fear of failure and fear of the unknown, and how much worth I put in my accomplishments and achievements. I'll give you an example. So there was this one time, sophomore year, I was taking a developmental psychology class, and at the end of the class, our professor gave us our final paper assignments, and we were going to submit them electronically in a few weeks later. And she said, these are due at 11. I don't accept late papers, so 11:01, that's late. We're like, cool, got it. So fast forward a few weeks later, I'm swamped with like 3 papers, and they're all due like around the same time. Those ones were due midnight, and I thought that this one was also due at midnight. And I realized my mistake at 11, like past 11. I was like, shit, so I submitted it at 11:08. I was like, this is it. She's not gonna take my paper. I'm getting a 0, I'm getting an F in the class. Like there goes my GPA. I saw my future just plummeting. I was like really freaking out. And then my roommate at the time, Marina, over there, hello Marina, she saw me in my despair, and she said, Angela, it's okay. The fall shall further the flight in you. Wow, that was profound. Thank you, where did you get that from? And then she proceeded to show me one of her favorite poems where that line was from. It's called Easter Wings by George Herbert. You should definitely check it out, it being Easter and all. And it really encouraged me, like reading, then shall the fall further the flight in me. I realized how much I was depending on my own strength and how much I didn't want to fall with Christ. But the only way you can rise with him is if you fall with him. So thank you, Marina, for that. It ended up being okay. Like the professor had mercy. Looking back on it, it was like ridiculous that I freaked out that much and blew it out of proportion. But that's just one example of how people around me in the Duke community these past 4 years have just helped me to look up and point me to God. I've been so blessed in that way, especially with these incredible people sitting right here who've been so generous with their time and their resources, being there for me when it was super inconvenient for them, and just pointing me to God. And thank you guys for all of those prayers and those conversations, the late nights, the food brought, the cars driven, the sonic iconography that we all just create together, the crying, the laughing, the studying that wasn't actually I really love you guys so much, and it kills me to be leaving you. You're family to me. So. The people I've encountered have just been incredible, and even the campus itself has helped me look up. I mean, there have been countless times where I've been walking back from Perkins Library to my dorm at like 3:30 a.m. and I'm exhausted and stressed and like things are not going my way. And I have to walk by the chapel in order to get back to my dorm. And each time I walk by, I just look up at it and the spire is illuminated against the dark sky, and I'm just reminded that like I'm not alone. And yeah, that's one of the reasons why I actually chose to go to Duke, is because the chapel is at the center, the heart of campus, and you can see it from pretty much anywhere on West Campus. Now, there's a lot of different directions we can look, right? We can look forward, backwards, up, down, left, right. And a lot of times I found myself looking left and right, not sure which way I should go, not sure which way is right. And also comparing myself to everyone around me. It's so easy to do here in this competitive atmosphere to feel inferior. I just feel like everyone else seems to know how to do things better and knows how things should be. So, and just like being swamped with the busyness of Duke life, I find myself often looking right and left. Or I'm looking down. Sometimes I find myself belittling others or looking down on them, or ashamed of something I've done, or embarrassed or scared. Or I'm looking back, regretting things I have done or have not done, or being really sad about things that I've lost. And I do that a lot now these days, preparing to leave this place. Or I'm looking forward, and that's pretty anxiety-inducing because I don't have a job lined up yet, and a lot of my other friends do, so that doesn't really help. And a lot of times I find myself thinking of the line from Ghost of a King, which we're going to be singing next, where we sing, "So I followed the ghost of a king. With every step I tried to see beyond for a trace of the riverside, but restlessness was my prize." I mean, a lot of times our hope is hard to come by, and you want that thing now, and it's not here yet, and you're just restless and you're waiting for it. So I definitely feel that a lot. But look up, right? And it's not just about looking up. That's only the beginning. Because if you just look up, there's the danger that you become like the priest or the Levite in the Good Samaritan story who walked by the man on the side of the road because they were so focused on godly things that they forgot to love their neighbor, and they just didn't see him. So, gotta look up so that I might get Christ's eyes, like we sang in the beginning, "Be thou my vision," and how we're going to sing later on. So that's the goal. You look up so that you can then look in all those other directions with a new pair of eyes. I mean, you look down and you realize that you've been forgiven and all your shame is taken away. And you look back and you see how graciously the Lord has provided for you all these years, how He's had your back and He's not going to leave you. Or look left and right and seeing people for the first time, people that Christ died and rose up for, just like you, and looking forward to that everlasting hope. So Christ rose up so that I might rise up for others. And even though a lot of my life feels unstable right now, feels uncertain, and I'm incredibly sad to leave this place and these amazing people, I know that will